Hey guys, Phil here. Just on the way down yet another steep hill behind me here on the final approach to Matthew's house. I haven't really been able to pick up much more than this stuff here that I already had for this fire, but I'll be keeping a sharp eye. I mean, there's plenty of stuff around here, but I'm trying to find the stuff that's just lying on the ground without going into people's properties or gardens. But I might get some more feather stuff down here and at Matthew's house, because he's got a bit of a forest out the back of his property. So that's, I think, where we'll be doing the fire as it is. So as you can see, this is the downhill here, and I'll catch up with Matthew as soon as I get there and see how we go. Hey guys, Phil here. Just been down to the local mall to get my hair cut, and now I'm walking up the hill to go and see Matthew. Maybe try out this, do a VR to Tamar's video on natural tinder fire lighting. So this is the hill behind me here, or part of it. And on the way, I'm going to try and be picking myself up some natural tinders here and there. Maybe off the footpath, out of people's gardens, etc, etc. And really wanted to be. So I'm just walking up the hill here to Matthew's house, and I've come across some of these dried seed pods which have come off this tree here, and they're just lying on the ground. So I'm just going to take a couple more. This might be some of the fuel for my fire that I'm going to do, or that we're going to do for a VR to Tamar's natural tinder fire starting. So I'll carry up on the hill here and get to Matthew's house, and these are nice and sun-baked, dried today, although it was raining for the last few days, so I still think they'll make pretty good tinder. We'll see. I'll catch up with you guys later. It's Matt and Phil here from the Next 72 Hours. We're just heading off down to the local, I'll take the dog for a walk, and heading off to the local forest just down the end of the street here to gather some natural tinder for the VR to Tamar's video on lighting a fire with natural tinder. So we'll see how it goes. We're down here at the local park, and
obviously where the Melaleucas is really low water table,
yeah,
where the stubs come up, have a look.
Ah. Oh.
A rather muddy water supply.
Yes, we could probably still drink it.
Well, if you fill with it and boil it, you can drink anything, can't you?
We could use our life straw.
Old life straw. Someone's made a little fort down here with it. Just a little bit of paint. Okay, so let's go over here. You have a look at this. This is a really worthwhile thing to take.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're going to do is try and grab a few different sort of tinders to try. I mean, obviously there's a paper bark, or feels a little damp underneath. Sometimes you can find a spot where it's less damp, like underneath. Yeah, it's still damp there. It's been raining a little while ago. We've had quite a lot of rain. So anyway, so what I'll do is I'll just grab the outer layers, and as you can see, that's still, there's dampness there, so I'm going to find it a little hard to get. I've just taken the surface ones off. For those who don't know how far these go in, you can get whole wads of stuff here. I mean, literally, that's probably, well, altogether that's over a centimetre sort of bark, and you can, if it's on a big tree you can take it off without damaging the tree, and it makes really good bedding. It's nice, sort of like a dense foam mattress. Anyway, that's damp, chuck that down. Just take this dry stuff. We're going to swing around over here, have a look at some of this bark and dry material, see what we can find over here. Okay, so just grabbing this stuff pretty dry. You can sort of feel it just crumbling. So that, and it's sort of got a nice lot of grease. Now we'll grab a few different materials, see what we can get going. Of course, when you're trying to get a spark, the smaller the branches are, the better. These are a little on the big side, so you might look elsewhere for something slightly smaller. There's another tree over that's gone down over there. We'll have a look at that one, eh, Phil?
Yep. Come on.
Sticks, I mean, they're sort of pretty dry. They could be, they're not like absolutely bone dry. A little bendy. Really super brittle. Sees a bit of green in it still. Anyway, grab a bit of those. I'm going to grab some of these little needles. I'm not quite sure what they're off, but very dry. Where there's needles, there's normally resin. So what I might do is also grab some of this stick here and see if I can find the heartwood out of it and see how much resin's in it.
Nope.
We'll try that as well. Yeah, see, it's a bit bendy, so it's not the driest. So we'll take a little bit of it. Okay, so we've got that. I might split that open later and see what's in the middle. Would be better to be a much larger piece of wood. Okay, so just grabbing some of these fibres under there. Lots of fibres in that. Fibres are good. Okay. Yep.
So we're on our way back to Matthew's home with our spoils here. And this is a little something Matthew happened to find on the ground here, which is a bird's nest. It's a bit damp, but I'm sure she'll dry out pretty quick. Or there'll be something dry in there, who knows. And our tinder hunter here. We're just laying out our spoils here of the little hunt, and these are those seed pods I found earlier on coming up the street. This is the sort of dry grass that was in front of Matthew's house. We've got the bird's nest there, some paper bark, twigs, sticks, and
just trying to get the fibres.
Trying to break up the fibres there. We're actually going to do this test on this big rock here at Matthew's house because
it's a nice working level.
Yeah, it's a good working level, and it's you know, the restrictions for lighting fires out here in the Queensland forest around this area are pretty strict, so we don't really want to go risking getting in trouble at this point, do we?
No.
No. If it was a survival situation, then that would change it completely, but seeing as how it's not, and we're just doing this for a video, we're going to do it here. It's no different to being out in the bush, only breaking less laws, I hope.
So what I'm trying to do is just loosen off the material around the fibres and free up the fibres without destroying too many fibres, and make a little bit of a bird's nest. Of course we've got this bird's nest here, but it's quite damp, and there is obviously polyester in here which probably doesn't quite comply to the rules of the game, but I might try and grab some of these lighter fibres on the outside. They look a bit green still. We'll see what happens anyway. But first we're going to try this and trying to get all the flakes out of it.
It's pretty amazing, all that stuff's flying off it.
Okay, so it's nice and getting quite light now and fibrey. So I haven't tried this before like this, so this is a bit of a interesting exercise. So what have I got in my pocket? Yeah. I'll leave it inside. Wrong side of the knife. Did everyone sit with me by using the wrong side of the knife? despite the fact I only use this reeling knife to start fires in here. There we go. Okay, so that's that.
Nicely done.
Bark. It's definitely what I consider a success. I'm not going to light a fire with it. Well, Phil's going to light a fire with it. Okay, so pass on that. I don't know what sort of eucalyptus it was. It was a brown fibrous eucalyptus. This is the same sort of stuff we just lit that from. Quite fibrous. You can see the fibres here that I'm trying to separate out, and put a bit of. That's actually quite damp there. Maybe that's the reason why I had a bit of trouble starting it.
He had some pretty good, or Matthew had some pretty good success before with that bark that he shredded up over there, and now we're going to try and make.
We're just trying to. This is dampish underneath on the base, but the outside was a little alright. So I'm just trying to wait for those kookaburras to finish their input. Okay, so
and our cheerleaders cheering us on.
Just trying to flake this out. Obviously, with fire lighting, it's all to do with catching that spark on the tiniest bit of fuel you can with as much sort of oxygen around it. Get the best chance to get going. I think that's what a lot of people do, make mistakes about, is they rush the process, and instead of being careful with their preparation, they rush it, and then they get frustrated. Good thing with paper bark too is, if you manage to catch a spark with another material, like an ember, or you want to, so with a bow and drill method of fire starting, you can actually get a nice big dry piece of paper bark and put it in there and really just blow it into flame. And once you've got that ember going, you can't, it's really not a lose-lose situation. As long as you keep blowing it, you're going to get a fire eventually. Just a little bit of a smaller pile than I really would want. Flying around a little bit too. Okay, so well, that's first strike. How's that? So there we go. Paper bark. What I do is I grab some of the more damper stuff and see if we can get that going, eh? For the sake of argument, we'll pop it on here. And pop it inside. Do a little bit of a tunnel. Oh yeah, it's already going. How's that? Hold it up in the wind so that the wind catch it. Ooh, it's already burning. I would say that's a success.
Yay, we kind of ran out of light here. We're doing this outside, and as you can see, the sun's gone down behind the house.
Okay, so,
and while we're at it, we should say thank you to amberjack.com.au for providing the prizes for this competition.
Yeah, even if we don't get them. Bit of a nice challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the eucalyptus bark that we gathered. Pretty dry. As you can hear, it's all crunchy away. It's a bit thicker. It's like you can sort of feel it's a bit thick, so I'm a bit dubious how well that we're going to catch. So, as with everything else, trying to make it as sort of fibrous as possible without making it into mush. Okay, so that's not filling me with a lot of confidence, but they look too big. Yeah, what do we got? Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get much smaller than it. Now that would probably be a good something to catch the tinder you've already had success with. So I'd say my money on this is not going to work. It just looked too big for me. No, we won't know until we try. Hang on.
Hopefully it's got a bit of resin.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping, and maybe catch a bit of fibre on the side. Well, we'll give it a couple of strikes. If not, I'll try and tease one out a bit more. Keep it in the middle a little bit. So I think we can pretty much guarantee that didn't work, because we did get a couple of little flames which is not going off. Okay, so that's a bust. Okay, so we've had success with the fibrous material. We'll try just the grass straight by itself. The needles are going to be, I think, just too thick, so what I'm going to do is crunch up the grass a bit. Try and work the fibres loose. And without destroying them too much, try that. There we go. Come on, baby. Separate it out a little bit to get a bit of... Okay, so now we've got the eucalyptus. We'll try the pine needles. If they, or whatever needles they were. So there's a bit of... I think there might have been resin in them. Okay, and this is the bark that I strung up before. See how that burns? Yeah, that's not really burning that well. It's not catching well. So we won't try that again.
See if those seed pods have been. Well,
and we're just... The seed pods are... What we're trying to do, we'll maybe whack these with a... Try and get some fibres out of them. It's the fibre that you need.
There's more the fuel than the tinder, I guess.
They're pretty dry. Wouldn't say that there's fibre in them.
What plants? So here's our little fire that we built using all natural timbers. This is a combination of all the timbers we found in the forest before and on my walk up to Matthew's house, including the seed pods there which are burning away. Geez, it's warm quite nicely. Also got some paper bark, some eucalyptus leaves or eucalyptus bark as well. And
now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just scrape away flying insects. Just fluff out the outer side. Normally you'd start it inside. I'm going to fluff out the outer bit because that's obviously going to be drier because it's been in the wind. I still can feel the damp, but anyway, we'll see. We'll give it a shot, eh? No harm in trying. Ooh, whack it with my finger. Okay. More of this will strike it. There we go. Okay, so we did strike it with the bird's nest. Let me try again.
bearing in mind it's quite windy here at the moment as well. There's a bit of wind coming through.
It's been pretty cold today. I think it's the coldest day of this year so far. You and Brizzy? Okay, come on, baby. Lock it up. Right. Remember keeping in mind that normally a bird's nest, a dry one, is brilliant material to start a fire with. Well, actually, that caught it from the bottom. How's that? So that was actually wet. But Bring that up. So we're getting to the point where it's all wet in the middle. I'm holding onto a damp bit. So remarkable, that was actually pretty wet. And we're still getting a fire. Let's go out. Now that whole lumpy bit there that I got there is actually pretty damp and soggy. So far pretty good, eh, Phil?
Yep. That's probably
all our materials. Let's try one more of this stringy bark because I thought that was quite interesting. I hadn't tried that before. So anyway, this bit here feels quite damp. You want to have a feel, Phil? Does it feel? You feel the damp at the end there?
Yeah, it's a bit chilly, isn't it?
So I'll just take the top bit here and we'll try that again. So if you guys are interested, what we try to always do is make it as fibrous as possible. If you can make it out like a fluffed out bit of rope, like a hemp rope or something, that's what you're trying to go for. And of course as dry as possible. And that looks pretty fine fibres there. So that is still feeling a little damp for me. And I'm just, we'll give it a go, eh? Let's see what happens. Okay, so guys, what I'm going to do, I am going to, they say, I'll put this on my person. I'll put it in a pocket or something, put it in there for an hour or so, and we'll come out and try again, see if I can dry it off by putting it in my pocket. So I put it in my jacket pocket, it's quite absorbent. I'll take my phone out. What else is in there? The old Ventolin. Okay, so
yeah guys, so what I'm doing, this is the material I had in my pocket earlier. It's got an old rolling pin in it. This is actually something to pull out the rack of a hot oven. Anyway, so I had it in the drawers. What we're doing is trying to separate the fibres a little bit more. See, there's lumpy bits in here, a little bit that I haven't really separated that well. So what you can do is, it's an old rope maker's trick. They obviously use something a little bit heavier than this. To separate the fibres, you can whack it with wood. Or you could probably whack it with the back of a knife on wood. You're not trying to damage the fibres, you're trying to separate them out. So just pounding it all over, probably a little bit heavier. Hammer wouldn't go as straight. But okay, so that's sort of, we're just, obviously all the fibres that come through, we're not wasting those at all. It's nice and light, so what I'm going to do is scrunch this up a little bit, bird's nest it in again, and sort of just tease it out, because I like the look of this one. It's a bit lighter. These ones you can sort of feel them are a little bit lighter, more likely to catch a spark. So we're going to do this on the kitchen, on the stove top here. Obviously my wife's not home, otherwise that wouldn't be happening. So
true, so true.
So just grabbing these little light fibres off here that's come off the bottom, and we'll give it another shot, eh? Want to make a bit of a bird's nest here, trying to catch those fibres there, and I'll move it over here so hopefully it won't destroy the stove top. Oh, there we go, first strike, bird. Come on, baby. There we go. Second strike. I don't know what I'm going to do. Getting hot. That's why your wife doesn't want you to do it on the stove top. Anyway, so that's successful. So just keep it in your pocket, dried it out enough to give it a go. So if you, good trick to take, you know, like if you're walking around through the bush and you want a bit of tinder, you spice something you think's good, you grab it way before you need it, put it in your pocket, let it dry out, and there we go.